Sagittarian, Piscean energy that's going on, especially with Mars in Pisces. Mars will soon be going into Aquarius, which will give us some clarity about the direction in which we are going in. But at this present moment with Mars and Pisces, there's a lot of confusion, and we still have this conjunction going on with Mars and Neptune, causing a lot of illusions. There's a lot of us believing things are happening that maybe we're not seeing things so clearly. We're not seeing the true big picture. And that's really what this Sagittarian season is really about. If you really look at it, it's looking at yourself and finding ways on this journey to raise your vibration. This is really about growing and becoming your highest, greatest self. So on this Sagittarian journey, a lot of us may feel a bit lost and like we don't have the answers. And we don't, as Sagittarius is the polar opposite to Gemini, which Gemini focuses on the learning aspect, the knowledge, the details. Sag is not so focused on these smaller details that we might feel is of importance to us. Sag is really about looking at the bigger picture. It is looking at things with a certain light to it. It's about having optimism, about believing in yourself in order to get you over these challenges. Because as we move into the next sign of Capricorn, and a lot of the energy at this present moment is in Capricorn, because this is a time where we do need to do work on ourselves. We are at a time where it's not like we can just lay back and just not do the work. We are constantly going to be presented the same lesson, the same problem over and over again until we choose to work on these things. And ultimately, that is what Capricorn is about. As towards the end of this month, we will be moving into Capricorn season. Capricorn is saying, let's do the work. Let's work hard. Let's keep going when all odds are tough. Let's just keep climbing the mountain until we get to the end where we can reap the rewards and the benefits from it. And ultimately, this Sag energy is a huge key in incorporating that Capricorn type of energy into your life. Because with Sagittarius, it is about believing in yourself. It's about taking that risk and going on that adventure, having that experience, even though maybe you might not want to take on that experience. You will find the truth and the wisdom that you are seeking in that experience. So a lot of us, we are on journeys right now that maybe we don't want to be. Maybe they are journeys that we feel not so comfortable with. Right, we might feel a little bit out of place, like the things that we want aren't in our grasp yet. And it's because it isn't. This phase is all about believing in yourself and taking those first steps. And over the course of the end of this year going into next year, it is doing the work, because next year is going to be a very beautiful year that is going to have a lot of benefits. So this year, towards the end of this year now, it may feel a bit dark as you are working on yourself and facing things and challenges that you thought that you were done with. And especially with the holidays, this can be a very dark time in our lives, but Sagittarius is there reminding us to stay positive, to stay focused, to keep going, to keep trying to reach that highest, greatest version of ourselves. And this does require the work, that Capricorn energy about working and putting in those concrete values and strong morals, and to keep reaching for the highest, greatest version of yourself. Because in the end, there will be something brighter at the end of the tunnel for you. That light at the end of the tunnel is going to be there as we are transitioning into 2019. And a lot of this plays into the role of the nodes as the nodes have shifted. We have North Node in Cancer now, and for quite a bit now we have become used to this Leo North Node, Aquarius South Node. And if you don't know much about the nodes, they are always opposite one another, so they're polar opposite to one another. So before we had them in Leo and Aquarius, those are polar opposites directly across from each other. And now the nodes have transitioned back into Cancer and Capricorn. And the nodes are really about the lessons. And the North Node is about where we're going. It's what we're learning, what we're becoming. The South Node is where we came from. It's what we already know. It's where we've been. So with this North Node in Cancer, we have the South Node in Capricorn. And Capricorn is a Saturn-ruled planet. It is an earth sign. There is a lot of constriction and boundaries and rules associated with Capricorn. Because again, it's about staying focused and doing the work, climbing that mountain. So there's a lot of tradition, there's a lot of rules, there's a lot of restrictions that we know, we've experienced that. That is a part of where we have been. And with this South Node in Capricorn, it's really about releasing those things. These old rules and restrictions and ways of doing things that we once believed in and that we once used as tools to help guide us no longer serve us. This is a new reality that we are coming into with this North Node in Cancer. With North Node in Cancer, it's really teaching us about being emotionally vulnerable and being comfortable with that. It's about trusting others and uniting one another as one unit. It's about caring and nurturing our neighbors. It's about allowing others to care and nurture us. That trust, that compassion, that unity, that is a part of where we are going. This is a time to focus on these emotional things, these old habits, these old way of thinking, the old way of believing, these patterns, these constrictions, these rules that we've been stuck in. It's time to face those things as they are coming up into your lives at this present moment, and it's time to start releasing those things. This Sagittarian energy is so wide and full, as it is Jupiter ruled, for a reason. It is here to teach us a lesson. It's here for us to learn to believe in ourselves, to release these old ways so that we can gain a new way of doing things, at looking at things, at relating to others, at thinking and feeling. And Sagittarius really is that. It is the adventure. It is the journey. It is that belief that pushes us to do the work, to put in the concrete hours, the time spent to make these dreams reality. And as we go forward, something that we will find is that we need one another on this journey. Cancer is a very emotional sign. This is being emotionally vulnerable and letting others in and learning to trust others on this path. So this is a time where we need to make peace with our past and let go of emotional restrictions, because these things that bind us, these things that we are holding on to, will no longer serve us. And they will keep coming into our lives until we have finally learned to face these things and to therefore release them. A lot of fears, a lot of insecurities, a lot of constrictions, a lot of old habits, these things are going to surface in your life if they already haven't. And there are going to be things that you are going to need to work on. And you may find that you need to unite yourself with a friend, with family, with others around you to get you to work on yourself. The help of others is going to be a strong theme as we move into 2019 with this North Node in Cancer. This is a very different type of energy that we haven't felt in quite a while. This really is going to make some people feel uncomfortable. This is going to be a huge shift of energy, a huge transformation that we are going through. This is something that is going to be new to a lot of us. This idea of being emotionally vulnerable and seeing it as a strength and learning to trust in others and uniting one another together in order to move forward. So that is my update for you on what is going on in the universe in this present moment. I hope that helps you all. Hopefully you are being kind to yourself and forgiving yourself and others and working on these emotional vulnerabilities, working on these insecurities and fears and old habits, and beginning to trust others and let them in, and joining forces with others as you move forward into this new reality, into this new year. This is going to be so different, as a lot of us are going to find ourselves either stuck or moving forward. The choice is ultimately up to you as you are faced with these old beliefs, these old habits, these old insecurities, these old fears, these old choices. All of these things that we've buried are going to come up, and we are going to need to face these things. And if we don't face it, it becomes a repeated loop where we are stuck until we finally overcome these things. So that's all. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.